Sorry, let me start again. Go ahead. Oh, ho, ho, Merry Christmas and welcome to the Godfather Minute. I'm Alex Robinson.
And I'm I can't do voices anymore. I'm Andy Robinson.
Andy Robinson, you are. You okay?
Yeah. Claus of Santa, I am.
And together we are the Godfather Minute Brothers. How are you doing this week?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
My voice is weak.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's understandable. You've been podcasting 24/7.
It's true.
Seems like every time I reach out to you, you're podcasting.
It's a lifestyle.
Hey, what are you, two-timing on me?
Would you go to podcasting school to get stupid? Today we're talking about minute 94.
Minute 94.
Minuto.
You want to take a guess? You can do it.
Numero.
You got it. Keep going. I'm a coach. I'm a language coach. Come on. Come on. Give me all you got.
89.
You just said...
Cuatro. Something cuatro.
You just said 89.
Okay.
So you're close. Come on. Think of 90. 90.
89 plus cuatro.
Same letter.
30 plus 5.
90.
94.
Quattro.
94.
94.
94. Navanto?
90.
Not nobanta.
90.
V as in Victor.
Yeah.
As in your boy Victor got picked up for a petty theft.
Theft you don't even know about. I just saw some scenes of GF2 yesterday.
Didn't make you eager to watch it.
You fly around with men all over the world. I use you like a whore. You're not my father. I can't wait to get to the beginning of GF2.
You did those voices good.
Yeah. I think when I overthink it, that's when I mess it up.
Yeah.
Because I need money.
Well, so we're talking about minute 94. Mm-hmm. 94.
Got some good minutes coming up.
A minute 94. The family finishes welcoming Don back from the hospital. Mm-hmm. In his, I guess is that their like guest bedroom or something? I don't know what that room is that they're in.
I think it's his bedroom. And Puzo wrote that they had converted. I think it's his bedroom to be basically a hospital room, so they could fit all the machinery and all the supplies there.
So you're saying the Don and Miss and Mama have separate bedrooms?
I don't know. I don't think Puzo wrote about that. Come on, that's taboo.
Goes into intimate details.
Yeah,
some details are you know.
We're talking about Don Corleone.
Yeah, So they gather around him, and then all the ladies and Carlo are kicked out, and then the men folk can get down to discussing business.
Oh, how humiliating being Carlo, kicked out with all the ladies and children.
I never noticed it before, but the fact that like Carlo does get kicked out, and they make there's a point of Sonny saying, "Okay, you two, Carlo, you two, come on, go on." They're shuffling.
Get out of here. Scram! That's where Fredo learned how to clear a room.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with him.
I can't control him, Mikey.
Yeah, so and then immediately after that, you see Carlo sulking outside, and he like snaps at Connie about shut up and sit at the table. Mm-hmm. I never noticed that was laying the groundwork for him being.
Yeah,
this is the first time you see Carlo as like the jerk.
Yeah,
not the jerk, but
I think so, right? Yeah, I don't think you see him being a jerk yet.
Yeah. This is the first time.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah.
I do have some stuff about Carlo from the book, which we'll get into later this minute. Yeah, some really interesting insights.
I was surprised that Fredo was allowed to stay.
How come?
Well, he's Fredo.
Interestingly, in the book, Fredo isn't even there. He's already in Las Vegas. Yeah, they quote, recovering this whole time he's been in shock.
Well, we'll talk about that next week more, too. I just think I'm surprised that Fredo isn't, relegated to the outside.
Yeah, you think because he's susceptible to being approached by the opponents?
No, just because he's it seems like he belongs more in the not a decision maker kind of guy.
Oh, downstairs with Carlo?
Yeah, Carlo and the ladies.
Oh.
And the children. Because, women and children, they can afford to be careless.
Yeah. Fredo has definitely been careless throughout
That's
all the movies. Well, I think Fredo does have a crew.
He does.
Yeah, because in GF2, the scene that
Fredo's crew.
Oh, I know, that'd
must be
tough.
the biggest bunch of misfits and losers. They all talk just like
gosh. He has to pick them all up at the airport. all the menial roles.
I wish we had seen some of his crew. That would have been a fun.
Yeah. Well, we can maybe bonus content. We can start to write some deleted scenes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember in GF2, which I just saw a little bit of yesterday, Michael, right after there's an assassination attempt or murder attempt on Michael, at the end of the party, Michael gives the entire control of the family to Hagen. He says, I'm entrusting the lives of my wife and children with you. You control everything. Rocco, Al, Fredo's men. I think he says Fredo's crew. So Fredo's crew. That'll be a spin-off sitcom. It'll have to be a sitcom.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, or it could be like a drama that's kind of dark but has a lot of humor, like The Sopranos.
Okay.
It wasn't a comedy, but there certainly was a lot of comedic.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of who would be in his crew, like what famous actors would be part of Fredo's crew, like Steve Buscemi and.
Are they misfits and incompetents? Or it might even be funnier if they're very competent and respectable, but they're in these positions where they have to take orders from a guy who they have to give respect to this guy who they clearly don't respect.
It's part of the job, yeah.
Yeah.
I imagine like it's the kind of thing where you get assigned to Fredo's crew and you're like, you just gotta it's almost like being like in the minor leagues. You just have to tough it out and hope your pitching arm comes back and you get promoted back to the majors. So then we cut this little scene. Did you want to talk more about the opening part?
The opening of the scene?
Yeah, where they're kicking the family out.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it's I don't know if you call it a montage, but it's a few seconds of several different scenes. First, the women and children and Carlo get kicked out of the room. I do like the shutting of the door on the camera. That's used at least one other time, I think at the end of GF1. Where Kay is looking in on the room and the door's closed on her.
The iconic scene of
so the people who can afford to be careless are outside the room, and all the people who can't afford to be careless are inside the room. Then there's
Do you think that's how they check everyone? They go, do you have any cares? And you're like, I got a lot of cares. Okay, you can stick around. Are you worried about something? No, I'm fine. Oh, you wait outside.
Okay, you wait outside with Johnny. He doesn't have any cares anymore. And then right after that, I thought it was cool how it cuts right to the wives in the kitchen. The wives and mama in the kitchen preparing food.
Yeah. Their domain.
Yeah, you immediately see them getting kicked out, and then you see what their sphere of influence, their domain.
Yeah, right.
And then it cuts to outside. You see the button men guarding the front gate, and one of them inside playing with the children. So it's this. Oh, and you see Carlo. Connie says to him,
what's the matter with
you? Shut up, set the table.
Yeah.
So it's all these little scenelets. I call them scenelets.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
I was going to, so when they're playing ball with the kids, I don't want to sound like I'm a racist, but it looked like the guy who was throwing the ball back and forth with them was Paulie.
Really?
I mean, the guy just looked like Paulie to me. He had he was kind of like skinny and lanky, and he had kind of like a bigger bouffant kind of a hairdo kind of thing. I'm sure it wasn't, or maybe it was just footage that they originally planned that was supposed to be earlier in the movie, and they just kind of, no one's going to notice it. We'll just,
Yeah,
just
I wonder.
Use that scene here.
It did look like the wedding scene, kind of, at the gate.
Yeah,
and sunny.
Yeah, it could be, or others. So, or maybe right after the Don first got hit. Although that was something that was wintertime. So, but anyway,
that's right. Yeah.
But anyway,
I have an explanation for why it looked like Paulie.
Why?
Because it was Paulie's understudy. Now that Paulie's been whacked, his understudy has stepped up and filled that role. And of course, he looks like him because an understudy has to look the same for performances, Alex. This is all a musical,
It's true. Now he has to do comments on people's dancing. And he has to call people jerks and all that stuff.
He's still working on the accent. He's like, oh, Marone, if I could get into that wedding purse.
He's all like British. I haven't quite cracked the road yet, but I see Paulie as a sick man.
Jerk thou art stupidest. He's so British. Like, no, we didn't hire you to quote Shakespeare. What did you go to Shakespeare College to get stupid? We need you to play it straight.
Is there any tomato as sweet as thine wetting purse?
What are you, Benvolio? What are you here to make the peace? What
to be or
more?
not to be, go do your job.
To be or not to be, go do your job.
That's the extent of the Shakespeare that the Don knows.
What are the other classic Shakespeare lines? The famous ones we can parody.
Well, we got Jack Woltz. My horse, like my kingdom for a horse. My movies just to show you I'm not hard-hearted. I give my whole kingdom for a horse. Yeah.
I really can't think of more Shakespeare classic lines. To be or not to be. I guess there's some Romeo and Juliet.
There's a bunch of them that you might not realize are from Shakespeare.
Yeah.
All
right.
Did we just do one of these last week where we're trying to figure out what a line from Shakespeare and it was from a poem, whatever.
No, I thought it was from Frank Sinatra. It's better to have loved.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank Sinatra called the shots for all those guys, so it's not surprising.
So that's what I have for the intro. Mm-hmm. Oh, I do have one other thing from the book. On page 248, Puzo wrote, the mall itself was made impregnable. Button men were moved into the extra houses because, the mall has a bunch of houses. It's not just
a compound.
It's a compound, yeah. Button men were moved into the extra houses. The tenants sent on vacations to their native villages in Italy, all expenses paid.
So question.
Yeah.
So the Corleones have tenants?
Yeah, I remember we looked at this many minutes ago. There are several houses.
Many minutes ago.
There are several houses. And he just has visitors and tenants and people living there, and he supports them. But when he needs someone to move in, he kind of relocates them. Now, I don't know if they're living and working there in the business of the family, or if they're just kind of guests temporarily. Because I know Carlo was hoping to get moved after he married Connie. He was hoping to get moved into one of those houses, but it had not yet happened. Yeah.
So what did it say? To go back to their homes in Sicily?
Yeah, the tenants sent on vacations to their native villages in Italy, all expenses paid.
So they're all off the boat people.
Sounds like, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Are they people maybe who are maybe this is almost like Ellis Island, where this is like you stay until you get settled in.
Oh, maybe.
Until like assign you to a different,
yeah, maybe
different place or whatever.
Yeah. All right.
Doesn't seem like they would send you back to Italy. They could just put you up in a hotel or something during the.
Oh, well, it says it's Puzo Road vacations back to their native villages, so probably to go visit family.
I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
All expense paid.
Yeah. I like the idea that Hagen is managing those people and directing them. All right, we need 3 people to fill in Tessio's crew. So these 3 tenants, you've completed your probation period in this house.
Someone like doesn't want to get roomed with like Luca Brasi. Like, no, please not Luca Brasi.
Yeah.
Guy stays up all night whittling. It's a callback to our original.
Yeah, wow.
And then he makes statues of.
Yeah,
I'd like to live in a compound. I think it'd be neat to live in a compound.
A compound or a commune?
Either one.
Okay.
I would say more compound than commune.
How come?
Well, compound, I imagine everyone has like their own house. Mm-hmm. Whereas commune, I imagine everyone shares a house, and that seems like it could get more like having some personal space where you could say, okay, this is where we're in charge of this part, and
Yeah.
I feel like you have
that would be fun.
Private space. What do you think? Should we do it? Should we?
Why not? Just have to find a couple of houses for sale near each other.
And by the way, they have to be on a compound though. They can't just be near each other. They have to be like
in its own,
like one driveway to all the houses or something. They can't just be
yeah.
like next door neighbors or
I
something.
mean, I'm sure if we looked hard enough, we could find land, and we'd have to build houses out there.
I know someone who was looking to buy a home, and part of the complications is this person has like elderly relatives and stuff. So if he moved, he had to take that into account. And he actually looked, and there was a motel for sale. And he's like, we could buy the motel, put my relatives up in some of the rooms, and then we could rent the other rooms out as like hotel rooms for people. But
interesting idea.
Yeah, so that's kind of a
wow.
That's what I would like.
And you could definitely arm a compound like that, a motel. You know, a couple of the upper second floor rooms with the
second floor.
weapons.
I like, you're ambitious.
Yeah. I guess it wouldn't be a motel anymore. It'd be a hotel.
I think it could still be a motel.
Okay.
I think a hotel, the difference is that the doors open up into hallways, and a motel, they open up onto outdoors.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the difference.
That's the difference.
But it could be wrong.
That would make sense.
I guess it also depends, because obviously in like areas where it's tropical and nice, probably more hotels don't have hallways. They probably just open up onto.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I thought the difference was in motels, you just have to mow the grass because it's all first floor. And that's why it's called a motel.
Do you know who I am? I'm Motel. That should have been his name, because he runs casinos and stuff. Motel.
Mo, and then his nickname is really Tell. Right.
Or like his name was like Mo Telenakis or something. They just called him Motel.
Well, that's when he was referring in that scene to making his bones. That's what he meant. He like, built motels.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm He gave the same speech 15 years earlier. Do you know who I am? I'm Motel. I built this 10-room establishment while you were still in high school. Motel.
If you're such a big shot, how come there's not even a statue or a placard? Shut up! He's all mad. It's a sore spot with old Mo. Hey, Mo.
The young Michael Corleone wants to buy out his motel. My credit good enough to buy you out? Sure it is. This thing only cost $100,000.
Please take it off my hands.
So if Motel Green had taken on Fredo in that operation, what would the beef have been with Fredo? Instead of banging cocktail waitresses two at a time, what would he have been doing instead? What would his distraction have been? Like in a pool, I guess.
Yeah, maybe.
Or take cable TV.
I was trying to think. He was like breaking all the sanitary paper things that go over the. Do they still do those? I don't think I've seen those in a while.
Over toilets?
Yeah, remember there used to be like a paper thing that was like for your protection.
Yeah.
There was like a piece of paper over a toilet so that like it's proved that it had been cleaned or something. Oh boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, let's get a compound and move into a hotel, because this thing we have maid service and everything.
Oh my gosh. That would be fantastic. You could have visitors come. Yeah. Places to stay. You could Airbnb a couple of the rooms.
And then when people come, if you need to, you send the tenants back to Sicily on an all expense paid vacation one way.
Yeah. Let's not get carried away. Or you could have Frank Fantangeli's brother come visit and stay.
He has nothing to do with this. He's just here to support.
Came on his own expense, right?
So now all the button men, though, are staying in those.
Yeah,
in those
sounds
hotels.
like
it's got to be nice for the button men.
Yeah, stay close. Well, I don't know. You don't want to live too close to your boss.
You keep your boss close, but keep your enemies closer. That's the. Well, so much surprised like Clemenza's not staying there.
Yeah. I get the impression Tessio and his crew are more involved in the protection business. I just feel like in the movie and in the book, Tessio's crew is referenced a lot more now that things are heating up. Yeah, Tessio provides security for the meeting that's supposed to take place with Barzini.
Guaranteed his safety. Talk to Barzini. Woo! Yeah. I'm trying to think. So what is Clement? Clemenza's in charge of
dancing,
of bakery goods and. Improv lines and dancing.
Yeah, his wife wouldn't give that up in the contract that he's allowed to work security too. So I got a bunch of stuff about Carlo. Do we want to talk about that, or do we want to get into the interactions with the Godfather up in the bedroom?
Well, I don't think anyone actually talks during this minute, do they?
That's right. It ends with Tom looking very uncomfortable.
Tom's like inhaling, like he's about to speak. Yeah. And then
he's about to give some pretty terrible news.
But I do want to say that Connie does like bread, she points out.
She does. In the script, it showed, I think that was Sandra
Yeah, I
who
think
talked
so,
to Mama
yeah.
and said something like, "Hey, isn't that enough chicken cacciatore for
Yeah.
you?" I think it was something like that. But Mama doesn't respond.
Yeah, I think at one point, Sandra or Teresa, I don't know which one it is.
No, Teresa's way in the corner. She is
Okay.
there, but she's
So Sandra says something like, "Oh, that's a lot of bread," and Connie says, "I like bread."
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
And then you see that big bowl of bread out in the next to Carlo when he's pounding. So
Look at Sandra, one of the early Atkins diet adopters. Low carb, low
true,
carb
yeah.
Sandra.
Well, then now we see Connie is pregnant, so it's,
Yeah.
she's eating enough bread for two.
Yeah, that's true.
So yeah, so you said you have some stuff from the book.
Oh yeah, I got some great stuff from the book.
Sakatumi.
It's really about
Chicken Sakatumi.
So this stuff you don't see in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You see a little bit later when Carlo and Connie are fighting. It's really some interactions with Carlo and Connie. So what I'm about to read is after the Don got shot, but I think it's before he was brought back to the house. It's not
Okay.
clear in the book,
This
but
is a flashback.
it could be happening concurrently, not exactly at the scene, because obviously Connie and Carlo are
Right.
in their apartment or house. Puzo writes, page 235, Carlo Rizzi was punk sore at the world.
Punk sore.
Punk sore at the world. Once married into the Corleone family, he'd been shunned aside with a small bookmaker's business on the Upper East Side of Manhattan.
The candy store.
The candy store. That's even more humiliating.
What?
That the front is a candy store. Couldn't they at least make it like Optimo cigars?
You think he sells like cotton candy? It's not even just like a candy store, like a they just call it that, like a corner store, but it literally just like
Candies.
candy.
Kids
like
are coming in all the time.
All those those where you fill up your own plastic bag
Yeah.
full of candy and weigh it out. The Carmel's button.
And the Don not trusting Carlo is probably like, and to make it a convincing front, Carlo, I insist you dress like a clown, serving candy to all the kids. I'm gonna have Clemenza check on you every day to make sure you dress like a little clown.
I wish every time we saw Carlo, like he still had some of the bit of the makeup like around his neck and stuff, like he didn't quite get it all off. Why does he have all that white stuff all over his face?
Or he's dressed exactly like the Carlo he is, but he still has the big nose on. He forgot to take it off.
So he took the makeup off, but the nose was still on his face.
No wonder he's pissed off
Yeah.
all the time.
Do you think that's why Joe Pesci got so mad about the clown? What am I, a clown? What do I amuse you? Because it's the sore spot for all the...
You can act like a clown. What can I do? What can I do? And then let's see. Puzo writes, he'd counted on one of the houses in the mall on Long Beach. He knew the Don could move retainer families out when he pleased, and he had been sure it would happen, and he would be on the inside of everything. But the Don wasn't treating him right. The, quote, great Don, he thought with scorn. An old mustache Pete who'd been caught on the street by gunmen like any dumb small-time hood. He hoped the old bastard croaked.
Whoa.
Yeah, Sonny had been the friend. Sonny had been his friend once, and if Sonny became the head of the family, maybe he'd get a break, get on the inside.
What's something in it for me?
Can I take this clown nose off? Maybe get a better business.
Just don't tell me you're a clown.
He watched his wife pour his coffee. Christ, what a mess she turned out to be. 5 months of marriage and she was already spreading, besides blowing up. Real guinea broads, all these Italians in the East.
Wait, what does that mean? She was spreading and getting... when you said spreading, I thought that meant she was getting fat. But
That's
then it's
what I
like
thought too.
Spreading and...
Besides blowing up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, you're not only blowing up, you're spreading too. I don't know. I can't tell you the difference between those two.
Yeah.
Carlo reached out and felt Connie's soft spreading buttocks. Oh, here we go. I pre-read this to make sure it didn't get too graphic. And so here we go. She smiled at him and he said contemptuously, you got more ham than a hog. It pleased him to see the hurt look on her face, the tears springing into her eyes. She might be a daughter of the great Don, but she was his wife. She was his property now, and he could treat her as he pleased. It made him feel powerful that one of the Corleones was his doormat.
Oh, damn.
Very sad.
Yeah. Sad.
A little bit more about Carlo. Puzo wrote a little bit about how on their wedding night when they had gotten all the money in the purse.
Oh, sweet tomato.
Yeah, Carlo took it from Connie and she put up a fight. She wanted to keep it or do something with it, and he ended up beating her up and he took it. And Puzo wrote, this is Carlo reminiscing or remembering that. Christ, he'd blown nearly 15 grand on the track and showgirl bimbos. So that's how he spent that wedding purse money. And then Puzo goes on to write about...
it was all small bills cash, right?
Yeah.
So,
it's perfect for the track.
That's true. It is a good track.
Strip clubs, I guess, too.
Yeah.
If you're like, I'm assuming strip clubs back then, you just went in with single dollar bills.
I don't even know. Were there like strip clubs back then?
I don't know.
Like legit,
I don't
above
know.
board strip clubs?
I don't know.
I know everything with them is whores.
Yeah, that's I think a different type of establishment.
Yeah, right.
And then Carlo starts assessing his own strength. And he knew he was physically stronger than any of those so-called hard guys that worked for the family. Guys like Clemenza, Tessio, Rocco Lampone, and that guy Paulie that somebody had knocked off. He wondered what the story was about that. Then for some reason he thought about Sonny. Man to man, he could take Sonny, he thought, even though Sonny was a little bigger and a little heavier. But what scared him was Sonny's rep, though he himself had never seen Sonny anything but good-natured and kidding around. Yeah, Sonny was his buddy. Maybe with the old Don gone, things would open up.
That's interesting that so that he thinks that he says he could take on Sonny, and clearly when we see later on, so later on, does that mean if you ask Carlo, would Carlo say, yeah, I could have taken him out, but
I can't because he's Sonny Corleone.
yeah,
and
because
I'd
he's Sonny
be done.
Corleone, so it's like, I'm fighting him, but also if I know if I beat him up, then so
Yeah,
was
he
that I
just
guess
had
that,
to take a beating. That's
would be
why he
good.
ran probably and just eventually took the beating.
come here.
Yeah. In the book, both Sonny and Carlo are much bigger.
Yeah, everyone. Fredo is everyone's much bigger.
They really leaned them down when casting.
Yeah.
So a little bit of
Peek behind the curtain in the life of Carlo Risi.
yeah. There's a little bit more, but we'll wait till we get to the scene where Carlo and Connie are fighting.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it. But the actor who played Carlo has been saying some stuff recently about his experiences on The Godfather.
Interesting. Do you remember what?
I don't remember. I'll bring it up for a future show. Obviously, we have a lot more Carlo coming up, but
Yeah.
because I think he talks about like he was trying to dish it. And you know what? We'll do a We Ask, We Answered about that. I'll
For
look
that
up,
one?
Yeah, I'll look up
Okay.
some information about that.
Okay. We'll ask. We'll answer.
So if you want to hear us answer that, we will do it in the bonus section. If you go to Star Wars Minute, if you go to godfatherminute.com/support, and you can sign up, get bonus content. Anything else for 94?
No, that's it. I just had a little bit of background information. It still feels like a transition minute. The Don's getting settled. I did think that one shot of the Don when they pull the child away, the last child, and start clearing the room. He holds up his hands, and it's sort of a saintly shot. You see his hand, he's laying in the bed, and he holds up his hands, and the room's not well lit.
Yeah,
it's one of those common.
The way his hands are common, gestures.
Just common look in those saint paintings.
I thought it was interesting, that they basically him laying in the bed there. It's pretty much the same type of shot as when he's laying in the bed in the hospital. Yeah, it's like the same angle and everything. So I don't know if that was intentional or just because of the way the room is set up. That I would think that you'd want to change it to a different angle so that there's no confusion that he's not in the hospital. You know what I mean? As opposed to having looked just the same way. But just the small things.
Well, the key difference too, he's got all the sandbags in there.
Yeah, that's true. He does seem a lot heavier in those scenes. One of the things that's whenever I've heard Francis Ford Coppola talk about auditioning Marlon Brando for the role, he says that the reason he always says one of the reasons Marlon Brando, one of the reasons he talked all like that is because when the Don got shot, he got shot in the throat.
Oh.
And so his voice is like it never quite recovered from that. But I was like,
okay.
But his voice is like that all the time. And also, like in this scene, it looks like the Don has a bandage on his throat.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And when he tries to talk, I guess that's next tomorrow's next minute. So we'll talk about that more. But anyway, so
well, in the beginning of the movie, is his voice as coarse?
It sounds. I mean, later on in the movie, his voice is much more like, it's more like, did you talk to the
that's right. Yeah, you took care of that.
But it's not like at the beginning he's like, there's never a big contrast between his voice at the beginning and his voice.
You can act like a man.
You can act like a man. Yeah, I guess that's when Brando's not doing raspy. It's like, hello, I'm no. That's like more like anyway. He's all like, "Oh, Marlon Brando, am I?" Anyway, so yeah, and also you don't see him get shot in the throat or anything.
No,
so,
just 5 shots in the back, pretty much.
Still alive, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm guessing a lot of injuries can affect your voice.
Maybe he was intubated. They had to intubate him, put that tube. Did they have that back then in the 40s?
Oh boy, I don't know.
I wonder.
Yeah.
We'll ask.
We'll answer. Oh man, gotta be careful the questions you ask. You're getting into medical history, medical technology history.
All right, so I guess we'll rate this minute then.
Yeah, what do you got?
Well, not a lot happens. It's a lot of setup.
Yeah.
You do him on the Brando.
Even though there's not a lot of dialogue, I do like the succession of shots. The door being closed, the wives in the kitchen, the button men, Carlo. There's a brief interaction between Carlo and Connie, which is always great. I can't almost think Carlo scenes bump up a rating. They're just, there are not many of them.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. And of course the Don's in it, but he doesn't speak.
He does not speak.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm ready.
I think I know what you're gonna rate.
I think I know what you're gonna rate it.
Okay, let's say each other's guesses then.
Okay. We're saying each other's guesses now.
Yeah.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
1, 2,
3. I thought you were gonna go 3.
I was going to go 2.
Oh.
And
I was going 3.
I thought you were going to go 3, but then I thought because I thought you were going to go 3 that you were going to change it to 2.
Oh, no,
I said 2. So we both wound up saying our real rankings, but assuming the other person was
exactly. Yeah. I did try to throw you off with the tone. I went 1, 2, 3.
Well, yeah, I heard you throw that one on because you were like, you knew I stopped. So you're like, 3.
So you really rated it 2?
Well, not that it's bad, but it's like a catching your breath kind of a moment.
Okay.
It's sort of like after all the drama of the shooting and stuff, we're still reeling from that. The Don comes home. It's kind of setting up the next bit where they talk about business and stuff.
True.
So it's not that it's bad. It's just, they can't all be.
Yeah. They can't all be 3s, right?
Yeah, they can't all be 3s.
I thought it was a solid 3 minutes.
Technically, they could all be 3s. There's nothing that says they couldn't, but
So what movie, if you had to guess, any other movie out there is entirely 3s, every single minute? Is that the most mediocre movie ever made? The most average, which is just watchable, but not so watchable that it ever gets above 3, but not worse.
I think there's a lot of movies like that.
Yeah.
Just solid kind of, no real big.
8 Weddings and a Funeral, like all those that are just kind of middle of the road.
Yeah.
I've never seen that movie, but I get that impression.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Tom Hanks kind of movies are like that. Like kind of like where he plays like a spy, or or those. I feel like our mom likes a lot of consistent 3-star movies. She's always like, "Have you ever seen that Tom Hanks movie with this?" And I'm like, "No." Oh, you should really see it. And I'm sure it's anyway, unexciting but competent.
Yeah. GF3.
No, because I think GF3 has some really great moments in it.
Yeah.
So it does have some higher stars. You have to be consistently 3 is very difficult.
Do you think on average GF3 is a 3-star movie?
I don't know.
We can wait.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Yeah. I'm thinking about lowering, because currently we have our stretch goal with our Patreon is once we get to a certain amount every month, then we're going to do the GF3 commentary.
Yeah, the audio commentary while we're watching it, right?
Well, yeah, live audio commentary. And I'm so eager to do it. I'm thinking of just lowering the amount we have to get.
Because you want to do it so badly?
Because I want to do it. And if we just lower it a bit, we can tell people, hey, all we need is like 4 more people to sign up and then we'll be able to do it. But,
let's give it a little more time.
Okay, yeah. I think right now
I don't want to lower the Zaza standard.
I think right now we would need 20 more people to sign up, which is, not insubstantial. But so we'll see.
Okay.
We need about 1/3 more people to sign up.
Okay.
So,
all right.
Unless we lower it, then we only need 1/6.
And that's only 3 more people, right?
Yeah. If one person leaves, we'll have made our goals.
Hey, by the way, I know we're getting ready to sign off, and we've been struggling to find the next sign off.
You got one?
I got one.
What is it?
You ready? Za 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 za. Hey, za za.